Hello and welcome back to Stitch Chemistry, the channel where I share the results of my yarn experiments. In this video, I will be sharing 8 full skein swatches in 8 different stitches for Bernat blanket yarn in the color Mallard Wood. For these swatches, I used 5.3 ounce skeins and the recommended size 8mm hook. This yarn is also available in 10.5 ounce skeins, which would work up to approximately double the size of the swatches in this video. First, we have the single crochet swatch. I ended up making 2 single crochet swatches because the first skein I used had 3 factory knots, and after the factory knots, the color pattern changed. As you can see in the picture on the left, after the 3rd factory knot, which is marked with a red stitch marker and circled in red to make it easier to see, the color distribution changed and there was much less brown in the colorway. Because of this color change in the layout, I didn't reuse this skein for any other swatches. The second skein didn't have the same issue, so that's the swatch we'll take a closer look at. To help make the sizes of all the swatches in this video easier to compare, the first 6 swatches all have 30 stitches per row. The single crochet swatch has 31.25 rows, and the finished rows measure 14 by 16 inches or 35 by 41 centimeters. I have also included all of the skeins' weights for these swatches. Although the skeins are listed as being 5.3 ounces, all the skeins I used weighed slightly more than that. I wanted to include the actual skein weight since the weight will affect the size of the swatch. Next, we have the moss or linen stitch. This swatch is just over 36 rows. The measurements for the completed rows of the swatch are 13.5 by 19.5 inches or 34 by 50 centimeters. Next is the half double crochet stitch swatch. The first skein I used to make this swatch was another skein with a factory knot that changed the color layout. After the factory knot, which is again marked inside the red circle, the yarn has a noticeably different color and texture. You can see from these photos that although the skeins are almost the same weight, the first skein worked up larger than the second. I think this is due to the fluffier texture of the first skein after the factory knot. I think this is a good example of why the measurements I give for these swatches should be used as a guide and not an exact expectation, since skein and stitch tension differences will affect the size of each crocheter's work. Since the swatches came out different sizes, I want to go over the measurements of each swatch. The swatch with the factory knot has 26.2 rows. The finished rows measure 14 by 16.5 inches or 35 by 42 centimeters. The second half double crochet swatch has 23.1 rows, and the finished rows of this swatch measure 14.5 by 15 inches or 37 by 38 centimeters. Next, we have the double crochet swatch. This swatch is 16.75 rows, and the measurements of the finished rows are 16 by 16 inches or 41 by 41 centimeters. Now we have the triple or treble crochet stitch. This swatch is split between the classic and linked versions of the stitch. Rows 1 to 5 are linked triple crochet stitches, which measure 14.5 inches or 37 centimeters wide. Rows 6 to 12 are in the classic triple crochet stitch. These rows measure 16.5 inches or 42 centimeters wide. Here is a close-up of the different triple crochet stitches. The linked triple crochet stitch, which is shown below the red line, doesn't have any gaps between stitches, which is why those rows aren't as wide as the classic stitch rows, which are shown above the red line. The granny stripe swatch is 14.8 rows, and the finished rows measure 16.5 by 13.5 inches, or 42 by 34 centimeters. Next is the granny square. This classic granny square swatch does not have any chains between the clusters. The swatch is 8.4 rows, and the completed 8 rows, which are shown inside the red box, measure 14 by 14 inches, or 36 by 36 centimeters. The last swatch is for the solid granny square. This swatch was 7.75 rows. The completed 7 rows, which are shown inside the red box, measure 14.5 by 14.5 inches, or 37 by 37 centimeters. Here are all 8 swatches together. Please note that these are not adjusted to be accurately sized in comparison to each other. What do you think of this colorway? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you would like to see what other yarn experiments I conduct, please subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for watching.